Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Tuam, and today I'm going to talk with Jillie Simon, a professional producer, singer, writer, actress, and director. Now I'm waiting for her to join the chat so that we can start our conversation together. So let's check who is in the room. Unfortunately, her application was not upgraded, so we had to start our conversation again. So I'm waiting for her now. Hi everyone, welcome. So by any minute she will join us. How are you guys? Is everything okay? So let's check who is in the room. No, she's still not here. I hope there won't be a problem with her new phone. If that would be the case, then I will let you know that what we can do about it later. But I'm still hopeful that we will have our conversation together. So I'm glad you guys are doing well. Nice to know that. Yes, Jillie is here. Let me send a request. Yes, I think this one works. Hi, Jillie.
Hi, how
How are
are
you
you?
doing? I'm glad we made it.
Yes, we did. I'm so glad. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much. How's everything with you there?
Good. Yeah. Spring's a
In
coming.
which city are you?
What?
In which city are you now?
I'm in New York.
Oh, in New York. How's everything in New York?
Cold but good.
As usual.
There's optimism because of all the uh, vaccines that more and more people are getting, their vaccines. So I think there's a sense of optimism for that.
That's good. Did you get any?
Um, yeah, I had my first one.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know. I hope in Cyprus we will have soon because the whole population is just 300,000 and still we don't have it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yes, we are waiting for it. So hopefully it will be soon during March or April, but I don't know.
Well, I hope March,
Yes, I hope
April.
to.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, Jilly, would you please briefly tell us about yourself? I know many people know you already, but just in case.
Uh, uh, well, I started out in theater. I'm an actress and a singer-songwriter, and I got into film, and I loved it. Once I tasted it, there's an intimacy with the camera that you can have that is really nice, a naturalism. Although I do love theater. Theater is awful fun, and you get to try again every night. If there's something you feel you missed, you get to try it again. And so, in a few years ago, I started to make my own films. So I have two short films that are out. One of them called Hungry is it went through the festival, had a lovely festival, film festival run. We were in 34 festivals and won 18 awards. And then we got acquired by Indie Pix Films, and it's streaming worldwide. So anyone who's interested, it's starring Eric Roberts and me and Alex Emanuel and a whole bunch of wonderful actors in all the supporting roles, and including Victor Colicchio. Um, and that's on hungry.movie. Just go to hungry.movie, and there's all the links. Which link streams worldwide? I think it's Vimeo is the one that you can get internationally. The rest are basically US. And I also have a band with my husband that we've did for years. And like our first band was called Love Alien, and it was psychedelic space grunge, which shows you that it's an old band. And then we did a band called Musiciens Sans Frontières, with the idea that we are one world, one love, and we're all connected and should be able to be all connected. And then
You're
we have
still
this.
in the same band, right?
Well, we actually, me and Thomas, my husband, we got so busy with, I mean, I've been doing a lot of film work and some theater in the last, 5, 6 years. And Thomas has been doing composing for films, and also he's working now with a Brazilian artist who's part of the Baiano system, João Mehraei, and they have a solo project. Well, I guess it's not a solo, but it's a duo project together. But we were so excited to just release a new song that we did together. The one you played,
Save the Planet, yeah.
Save Our Planet, yeah. And it started out, actually, it was called Save Our Senate because it was written like early December, when the balance, like hanging in the balance, was democracy, whether or not we would get like here a couple of senators from Georgia, which would make it be a Democrat majority, so that things would be able to be getting done here in the U.S. So it was really a nail-biting time. And thanks to the, wonderful work of like thousands of people, like Stacey Abrams and stuff, we managed to get it. So I changed the lyrics of Save Our Senate to mainly Save Our Climate, because
Yeah.
that's the next
So
thing we got to do in order to, you know, the kids need to be fed, but they also need to live in a world that is healthy and not like crazy, ravaged by, natural disasters.
and I noticed also you use political issues also in your movies. You're interested in these topics, right?
You use what? I mean,
Some
that I use what?
political problems that you are trying to also shed light on them in your movies, as I understood. This is the case.
Yes, I want to put out things that will make a difference in the world, things that will uh, make things better, and help bring light into the world, and better people's lives. Though right now we're thinking of doing a like a short film that is just funny and cute. It's just like, and that's needed too. I'm part of a which has been lovely during the pandemic, when so little work has been going on for people who are actors and writers, and but writers are still writing. And there's a group I'm in that's a writer actor group, in which we read, like every Sunday we read new work of the writers in the group. So it's really lovely for us all, and there's just some brilliantly talented writers in the group. And one of them does she did stand up, and Hillary Schwartz does very funny sketches that she writes. And so we might just like do this like 8-minute sketch, make a short of it, just because laughter is important too, especially in these times.
Yes, of course. And I'm far from politics. That's why I'm glad that you're also doing those things, especially related to comedy. And what I wanted to ask you is that you have so many talents. You're a writer, producer, actress, singer, director. So which one of them are you the most passionate about?
I think that, well, there's a couple that I'm most passionate about. The acting is like, that's in my heart, that's what I am, like I started when I was kid loving to pretend to be other people and play, imagination games and pretend games and stuff like that. And when I was doing a lot of tours, I was touring the U.S. a whole bunch with our band and touring the internationally too a little bit. And I would start to really miss acting. So I've always done both, but I always have to get back to doing work in theater or film because that's my heart. But I also always, as well, write things when I am feeling it. So, there's always a time when, like years back, when if I had like some roller coaster stuff in my relationship, I'd be writing, about that. And then when, there's that's or just like being just so in love and writing about that, or political things that are going on. Like one of our music videos is called Legalize, which is about the importance of making this herb, which is very helpful, legal, especially because the people who are criminalized and put in jail, I mean, who are the victims of the criminalization and who are put in jail are, majority people of color. So it's really crazy, uh, unfair and all that stuff. So that's a music video that we have on YouTube. And yeah, and there's another on climate on YouTube called So Many Ways for Safe, Green, Sane Energy, So yeah, I love it all. I'm directing, like, I love aspects of directing, but I don't love wearing so many hats like you do when you're a director and you're also acting in it. So I never directed something solo. I've always like done it as a co-director. I mean, other than readings and stuff, but I mean, an actual film, I want people, other eyes, while I can focus on just the acting part, and not have to like, it was kind of crazy, like in filming Hungry, there was a scene where we were doing the scene in the school cafeteria. And Hungry is about a teacher finds out that children in her school are going hungry because of the cuts to a state nutritional fund that cut like so much money for the program that they weren't able to have as many children have free lunch in the US. So this teacher like finds out that kids in her school are going hungry, and she pays out of her pocket to help them. And that was based on a couple of true stories where teachers actually did that in the US. So I took that and I made it a teacher in Brooklyn, New York, and and then she finds out that she thought she had more money in the bank account than she did. So then she goes to buy groceries with her husband, and they're like, "Uh-oh, they're broke." And then she does research and finds out that so many children around the country are going hungry. So she has to, even though she's shy, she has to speak up and talk to her congressman who voted for the cuts to try to change things. So the whole thing, it also is like, if you speak up, like how it's about the importance of speaking up and how if you do speak up, things can change. So, and oh,
Yeah, this is also, yeah.
I was just going to say about that scene, we were supposed to have like 2 hours in the cafeteria to shoot a scene. And then they said, "Oh, we booked someone else, that you have 40 minutes." It's like, ah. And then I was running around and like dressing the set, like putting out little plates of fruit and stuff like that. And then I had to like turn around and go be Allison, my character, like run in front of the camera after being like doing all these other things. So it's much more, it's much better to be able to like, you know, focus on really focus on what the work you're about to do as an actor. But I was blessed and honored to be awarded 8 awards for acting for the, so I guess I didn't do too bad with the whole thing.
No, for sure, it was great. And what I wanted to ask you was related to writing. You're a writer, so I wanted to know that how come you, I mean, how do you come up with the ideas? So you mentioned, for example, you may just see something, watch something on TV and just come up with an idea, right? Or you just go someplace quiet and think about stuff. What's your style or strategy for writing?
Well, for me, the writing started out with writing songs. So then my husband was started encouraging me to write an actual narrative piece, like a narrative short that we could film, that we could shoot, and because he was encouraging me, oh, you're a great writer, you should write something that you could play a role in, this and that, and that we could do and make it soar. And so he actually showed me the article because he thought that that would be something interesting that I could latch onto, which was true. When I saw that, I was like, oh, there's a character that I would like to play. And then I thought about it and made it like into a whole story because it wasn't a story. It was just a tiny article that a teacher in Utah had um, helped out his children by paying to get their lunch balances up when he found out that they were going hungry. That was the entire article. And then there was another little one that was just the same tiny bit. So then I thought about it and I made a story around it. And the second narrative short that I wrote, I didn't actually come up with the idea or write the main part of the story. I was cast in a short play, and I thought it was really interesting, the dialogue, the conflict, and the characters. It was originally written as a man and a woman. In fact, the writer wrote man and woman. That was like their names. Two characters meet, ex-lovers meet on a park bench. And then he said, you know, I think you and Karen, this other woman he knew from this acting writing group, and this is a different group than the one I mentioned earlier. He said, you two, I think, would be so great as the ex-lovers. I'd like to see that, like you, because you're so different. And so I was like, oh, cool, great. And uh, then I said, you know, I think that if it's two characters on a park bench, because it's theater. That's it. That's all it was. I said, I think if we get them off the park bench and also show flashbacks to show what brought them to this point where they're having this meeting with all this underlying tension and conflict, what happened to get them to that point? So I wrote like, you know, I wrote some additions to his writing because he was totally up for it. So kind of together we shaped um, the what became the screenplay. And there was also a little bit of like improv with me and the main character, uh, who was the other main character who played my ex-lover, where we would go back and forth and I would say some lines that were unscripted to her and she would say back to me whatever she felt. And that's also a really fun way of working. Other directors, writer directors like Mike Lee from England, he works that way. And I would love to do a feature film sometime with a lot of, you know, improvising in rehearsal, and that becomes the um, fully realized script. Because when you're doing that with, like, you know, wonderful fellow players, it must be just so such a cool, fun thing that can result in something fabulous.
That's really cool. Usually, people who did theater, they are very good with it, with improvising. And when you are a writer at the same time, this is an advantage because you can write while making those scenes. This is wonderful. And by the
Yeah.
way, have it ever happened to you that an idea came to you as a writer and you were not in a good place to write it?
Um, I just would take a scrap of whatever, you know, like find a scrap of paper, however you can, and a pen. um, but now there's always your phone. Your phone is always on you, so there's notes, so you don't even need a pen anymore. You know, like you just put your notes and write something, or like I I've also like written songs for characters in films that or the theme song of a film that I'm involved in that I've been asked to by the director. So then like there was just something there's a TV pilot I was just cast in. It's an indie pilot, so it needs funding still, but it's a really um it's a really nice, really well written dramedy. You know, there's really powerful drama, and there's also comedic, lovely comedy in there. And so I've been helping with potentially writing a song for it. And so I get ideas, and I like, you know, go and I put on the music, not the music, the thing in the phone where voice notes, you know, and then I'll like sing something into it, you know, and then or you know write down the words or just sing the words into that and just save it for like, you know, when I have more time to work on it later.
Exactly. Voice notes are very useful. Recently, I talked with Deborah Tuis, another producer, and she also suggested me the same thing because the ideas usually comes to me in the shower. So I had no idea how I can keep the notes. So voice notes can be very useful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like you know, if I mean, sore from a workout, or my back is bugging me or something, and I'm taking an Epsom salts bath, which I should actually do. I'm overdue for that. And then like I put a little like um, s- something that a pen and and paper can rest on in case I get any like ideas of anything, like if I'm, you know, thinking of a character that I'm working on or something, or whatever notes I want to write down, just in case, you know, because when you're relaxed, like relaxing, you know, things can come and you want to not forget it.
Exactly. And my followers, since yesterday, they were keep asking me to ask you about a beautiful mind. You had an extra role there, right?
Actually, no, I had lines. I was a principal role, but the scene, I was in the scene in which I was playing the co-ed, a bar in the Princeton bar. Um, and the character of
So
this girl who
separate
Russell
from
Crowe,
the blonde scene, right?
the blonde, yeah, she was, he was trying to like single her out and be able to ask her out, and I was playing her friend who came over, and like the thing is that it got cut because the scene was so like telescopic, you know, it was zeroing in on what he wanted, so all the extra stuff, like, you know, that was going on and around the scene got cut in the editing room because it wasn't really necessary, because, you know, sometimes you just have to cut to what's really necessary to tell the story of the scene. That's like you in editing, you otherwise your film could be like 2 hours and 50 minutes or 3 hours or whatever. So yeah,
It
but
makes
it was
sense now.
lovely.
You were sitting behind the table, if I'm not mistaken. And when the blonde girl came in the room, then you take a look like you know her. So now it makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, and I like, and I get up and I greet her and I introduce her to my I think it was that I introduced her to my boyfriend, or and I
There
also
was a
asked
guy.
her what.
There was a guy beside you in the table,
Yes,
on the table.
and I
Yeah.
asked her about finals and stuff like that, and all that stuff was cut because that's not necessary, you know. But it was, but Ron Howard was just wonderful to work with. He's
Yeah,
just awesome.
it was such an intensive scene, and you have done so many things, but still, when we take a look at your IMDb, because it was such a big deal, Beautiful Mind, so they say people know you from A Beautiful Mind. So it's interesting. This is not
Yeah.
fair, but that's what
What?
happened. this is not fair. Like people know you because of that role, because you did many things, like many significant things as a producer, as a writer. But they say, for example, people know you from Beautiful Mind.
Well, I mean, that's IMDb, they have their way of putting things, that's just yeah, and that was a big, really big film, that came out, and it was a great film. So I'm happy to have been involved. I mean, it's not like, I mean, there's a film that I had done called "You Have the Right to Remain Violent" that was a really good film, and it didn't get the proper publicity that it should have gotten. It was by director Roberto Monticello, wonderful director, who also has won awards for his like documentary work and stuff. And I played a teacher. That was the first time I played a teacher, and it was about like this secret underground fight club based on some true stories, actually, where the adults in the town were making children fight and betting on them. And my character, the teacher, finds out and wants to help them. Um, and yeah, I had like one of the leading roles in that, but that didn't get it. It depends on what's big and what gets publicity and gets out there.
Yeah, I see. And people in the comments saying that, can we ask something? Of course, you can ask your questions. I will also let Jillie know whenever there are interesting questions. And there are questions in the language I don't understand. So please, guys, write in English so that I can let Jillie know about those questions. So, Jillie, by the way, I wanted to ask you, how did you get that role in A Beautiful Mind?
Auditioned for it.
Audition for it, I see.
Yeah, I mean, you audition for so many things, and I mean, that's the thing about being an actor. You have to be able to, just deal with, when you don't get things, you just hope for another audition. I mean, I had 6 auditions, 6 callbacks. I mean, the first audition and then called back 5 times for a role in a major Hollywood film. That was the like one of the characters of it was an ensemble piece, and it's a big film, and I was called back and called back and called back, and then didn't end up getting it. They ended up going with people who were they, you know big, tall people, so that the lead would look smaller and more vulnerable. That's it. You just have to like say, okay, well, I came close. At least they like, they really liked me for the role. And, you just hope for, to be remembered.
Yeah, I see. Because as you mentioned, you had actually lines in that movie. We thought you are just an extra, but that was not the case. But for a case of extras, even for them, should they have, for example, something like audition?
I'm sorry, can you ask the question again? I didn't
Yes,
hear. In the
for
case of extra
extras,
work.
yes, yes, for extra work, do they need to be auditioned like actress or actresses or actors, or no? This is a separate thing because this is unpaid usually.
Well, actually, extras are paid. Like, and we paid everyone in our film, and it was a short film. So if you're a lot of very good, excellent actors do extra work because it lets them help uh, in the union, SAG-AFTRA. They can, so I know people who, keep doing stuff when they're not in other stuff because of their health insurance. I mean, I haven't done extra work in a while, but um, yeah, I mean, in New York, it's very different than LA. I think that in LA, there are people who um, maybe are not necessarily actors who do background work. I'm not in that pool, so I of Like, I mean, I've never worked out in LA, so I don't on a film set, so I don't really know, but it's different. There might be people who aren't actors who are do background work, but in New York, they're all actors, I think.
Hmm,
I
I see.
haven't done extra work in a really long time, so I don't know who's doing what now. I just know that
I'm at,
I met
I,
some really nice people. Also, like when I was very young and doing some extra work, like I was in a Martin Scorsese movie that shot, which one was it? It's the one about the ambulance. And there was a scene in CBGB's, or was it CBGB's? I think it was CBGB's. Yeah, it was like a rock scene. So some of the people who were the background were also musicians. You know, I met some musicians that way as well.
Interesting. I asked this one because personally, I'm very interested to do extra in movies, not doing a professional acting job, because this is not my job. This is my hobby, and that's why. By the way, I think we have a disconnection. Can you hear me now?
I hear
Is
you.
it okay now?
I hear you. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
So yes, yes, now it's good. So actually, I'm a university professor, so my main job is far from entertainment industry, but I'm very interested doing these things. Like I'm a writer too, and I really like to
Ah.
do extra. That's why I wanted to ask for your advice that those who are interested just to do extra roles, how do you think we can reach that?
I think it's probably not that difficult when they need really large crowd scenes, and I think that it would be a fun experience for you, most likely, because it would all be new and interesting, and it would show you the workings of a film set. So, yeah, I guess you would just go and you'd send a picture and a resume, even if there's nothing on the resume but your data. But there's also special skills which you have as, every individual has whatever they can do, and you can just send your interest. And if they need, it's really like if they need someone who looks like you, then they'll probably call you up, and then you'll get on the set. And you'll be
That's
like, oh,
interesting.
okay.
So for those things, there are applications. For those things, there are applications, or usually people should send their resume directly to the producers.
Um, no, there's background casting. Like in New York, there's a agency called Grant Wilfley Agency, and he's a very nice man. I remember him from like years ago, and you would, if you look up a background casting online, and then they would probably tell you, send your, if you're interested, send your picture and resume to, such and such. I think that's how you would do it.
That's very interesting that New York has such interesting agency. I didn't know that there are such agencies. That's very interesting. So for those guys who also ask me, that's the way to do it. And people also asking me to again talk about Beautiful Mind. So what do you think about the story of Beautiful Mind?
Oh, it was a great story. Yeah, I mean, it was a fascinating story of this true life character who, um, this brilliant mind, beautiful mind, and it was really beautifully done by Ron Howard. I haven't watched it in a really long time, but it was a powerful film. And anything that's a powerful script is just a joy, you know.
Yeah, it was a masterpiece indeed. And as a writer, would you change a part of it?
Oh no. Um,
It's very hard to find a place that you would say, okay, I want to make it different, right?
I wouldn't. It was terrific. Yeah, and I am a newer writer, and I have so much utmost. I mean, I've been writing songs for years and years, but as for narrative work, I'm just finishing like I just finished a first draft of uh, a film called People Power, which is taking Hungry and extending it into a feature length film, like what happens next with this character, because I got asked to, like by people who loved Hungry. They were like, they wanted to, they were like, oh, you should make a series out of this. And I thought, well, I'm not sure about, that's such a, to me that felt like a gargantuan task, like huge, like, but I thought, well, maybe a feature film. So I've written that, and I'm kind of like rewriting and rewriting and getting it to a friend or two and starting, like to get feedback on it. But this is all something that I'm more new at, and I'm so grateful that people like what I do writing wise, but I'm so inspired by the masters of, like, I mean, I have also been like this is the fifth year, I think, the fifth year of running the screenwriting competition for the Socially Relevant Film Festival. And it's going to happen next week, March 15th, on Monday in New York,
Oh, that's good.
Eastern Standard Time, 5:30. There's a link on the Socially Relevant Film Festival website, which is, I think, ratedsrfilms.com. And you can go, and it's free to go to the reading. It's a great film festival, but I've been reading, so I've been reading a lot of screenplays for it, and the ones we picked are terrific, and it's very inspiring to read, you know, great scripts, and I'm just kind of traveling my path at being a newer writer. And you said you write, so that's awesome. What kind of things do you write?
Actually, I write short novels, but I'm kind of hoping that a native speaker could edit it for movie scripts. So I
Ah,
wrote I wrote mostly science fiction, comedy, and I'm very interested also to write horror and thriller genre.
well, I I love science fiction and comedy and thrillers too. Yeah, I mean,
So
so when you see a film that's just like so fantastic that you're left being like, wow, I'm so glad I saw that, and that came from a brilliant script and a great director. So yeah, kudos to all the people who inspire us with all their great skill.
exactly. And what's your ultimate goal, you would say, at the moment?
Um, my goal, I mean, I want to um keep doing what I'm doing, and like getting, getting roles that get seen more, like I mean, it's been, I was on a wonderful run where I had a number of roles in indie films coming out, like oh, Prince Harming came out in 2020. I have a nice role in that. That's a lovely dramedy that's on various, like, Amazon. I mean, I forget where it is, but if you look it up, Prince Harming movie, it's on all these sites. And that was a fun thing to do. And The Incoherence is another indie film that came out, and I have a role in that. It's really a lovely dramedy as well. And then just 2020, the pandemic stopped everything for everyone. So I just kind of, I'm my goal is just to I hope that, I mean, things are coming back, and I want everything to come back for everyone around the world, and I want to keep working and keep doing what I'm doing and make my first feature film, which is going to happen. but probably not till 22. No, well, yeah, probably we wouldn't go into production until 22. And also keep, like, right before everything shut down, I was pinned. It's called, in TV land, they call it when you're um, up for a role and it's like between you or someone else. The casting people tell you you've been pinned for a role. And I was pinned for a role on Bull, a guest star, and lovely part. And then um, she was like a cancer victim, and I didn't get it. So I hope that another, but now the office, like, loved what I did clearly because I was pinned. So I just want more, more opportunity to do my thing.
Yes, we are also looking forward to it. We know that you will appear in wonderful movies in the future as well. And also, I'm personally very interested to know more about your writings and also see movies which you wrote them. It would be very
Oh,
interesting.
thank you so much.
And by the way, let's do something fun. On our page, we have a challenge named Crazy Eyebrow. We try to pull one eyebrow up, one down. Can you do that? No.
I think I have to practice that.
Yes. This is
I like
good.
I like to I like to have things to practice. As an
It
actor, I
was a
always
good
love.
challenge, yes, for actors, exactly. And by the way, have you ever been in Cyprus before? It's far away from the US.
I have never been in Cyprus, but I
Yeah,
bet it's
that would
very
be,
beautiful.
yeah, it's so beautiful. And I hope also to see you in one of the movie festivals here in Cyprus.
Oh, thank you.
I'm
That
trying
would be
to
cool.
find promoters to bring you guys also from the US to Cyprus because we have few international events, unfortunately, in Cyprus. And I hope we will have more of them, especially after pandemic.
That would be cool. I know everyone's longing to, see other places, to travel and things like that again. So that would be wonderful. And before then, there's like people can see Hungry if they go to hungry.movie. And there's like, if they're in the US, there's like three different streaming places, and like internationally there's one. And if they want to hear all of the music, there's they can go to Jillie Simon, and on, let's see where, did I think I wrote it down. It's on Pandora, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, Apple Music. They can hear under Jillie Simon or Musiciens Sans Frontières as well. And I'm on Instagram at Jillie Simon, and I'm I'm on Twitter at Jillie Simon, although I don't, I usually just like other people's things. I don't post that much. I have to post more. Thank you for reminding me. And and oh yeah, for upcoming news, I'm at jilliesimon.com, and I'll put in the news about like what's next, what's happening when.
Yes, I think there was a little
Oh,
disconnection. Now it's okay. So, Jilly, it
uh,
was very nice talking with you. Would you like to add something?
um, sure. Just that, um, yeah. Thank you so much. I want to add that it was lovely of you to have me on. I'm
Thank
happy to
you
have
indeed for
been
joining me
here.
today.
And that I just say to everyone to keep their spirits up, because when you're positive, it makes you feel better, and things are turning around, and things are going to get better. And hang in, everybody. It's been so tough, and it's so, I mean, 2020 was such a sad, hard year for like everybody, but things are turning around, things are getting better, and we gotta like keep fighting for what's right. Oh, inspiration wise, I've been so inspired by, you know, I mean, Jane Fonda with her every Friday, there was like a protest every Friday, and with so many people around, Greta Thunberg and Malala and all everybody who's like everybody in the planet who is doing anything positive is making a ripple and helping us all, and it's beautiful.
Yes, Jilly, thank you very much, and I wish you luck for your future projects, and looking forward to catch them all.
Thank you so much. This was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. See you, Jilly. See you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Bye bye.
Bye.